Welcome back. This is Newsroom still on SABC News now. The city of Cape Town was coated in green, black and yellow over the weekend as thousands of ANC supporters celebrated 103 years of its existence in the Western Cape. President Jacob Zuma delivered the ANC's January 8th statement to a packed Cape Town stadium addressing issues like the pace of land redistribution and the transformation of the judiciary. Zuma told the crowds that sacrifice, collective leadership and humility remain values the party should never compromise. He called on members to rededicate themselves to the core values of the ANC, which include discipline, selflessness, and that corrupt and ill-disciplined members should be removed. Now, to recap on this and to elaborate more on what was addressed over the weekend, we are joined by the ANC's Provincial Secretary, Mr. Zongezo Mjongile, from our studios in Cape Town. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for inviting us.
After a very busy week in Cape Town, are you happy today that you've met all the obligations and the expectations of this week?
I first want to thank the national leadership for taking the bold decision to come and host this 103rd anniversary in the Western Cape. And I think we must also say a word of gratitude to the people of Cape Town, the people of the Western Cape and all other provinces that managed to make it to this very successful January 8 in Cape Town. Actually, it's the biggest rally that has been held in the city. According to Chalk, there were more than 70,000 people inside and outside the stadium. So it is true that Cape Town was painted black, green and gold this weekend, and it was an incident-free event, which shows the level of discipline and commitment that ANC members have. And I really feel that with all the hurdles that were put along the way, we remain focused on what needed to be achieved, which was to celebrate this momentous occasion. And equally, the president, in terms of the statement of the NEC, sent a very powerful message to the country about what this year means to the African National Congress. And for us, it sets a platform to sustain the mobilization and renewal of the ANC in the Western Cape in preparation for local government elections in 2016.
You're talking about that platform. The top six of the ANC crisscrossed the province in the early parts of last week without a hitch, really, going door to door in the small towns. It must be a fantastic platform then for you as the ANC Western Cape to now go and mobilize ahead of the election.
They have really ignited a lot of energy in communities, with people now calling us left, right and center already saying that we want to renew our membership in the ANC or we want to join the ANC, which we think bodes very well for the future of the ANC in the Western Cape. But of course, this comes as a result of the work of Imvuselelo that started immediately after the elections, when we said our focus is going to be rebuilding ANC structures. And we're starting to see what I call the early dividends of that hard work.
Let's talk about the event and the difficulty that you've had in the run-up to the event with trying to organize the stadium and the like. And we have reports here on social media that even though you had 70,000 people at the stadium and within the compound, all the restaurants along the Greenpoint Strip and the like there were closed. Is that accurate? And if so, what's your response to that?
That is not accurate. Actually, we took time to drive around. I think for the first time, Cape Town on Saturday tasted freedom because all those restaurants had a high number of black people, which in Cape Town is unknown or unheard of, going into those restaurants. I mean, for the first time, I went to Pepenero as an example, and it was packed with comrades. I mean, the manager there said, Songezo, this has never happened before. And a lot of restaurants around town, they were just flooded with ANC people. That's what we're calling an organized chaos. If you went to Waterfront on Saturday, you would have thought it's an overflow venue of the ANC rally. I mean, that's the turnout that you had. And I mean, people were disciplined. They were enjoying the city from here and afar. I remember a friend of mine, when we were passing the Sea Point Beach, and we saw buses with Mpumalanga and Limpopo number plates, people carrying 2 bottles of water from the seawater. You can see the excitement that they had that there is no seawater in Limpopo. So it just shows you that this equally contributed to the tourism and the exposure of Cape Town to the rest of the country, which I think contributed positively to the tourism. That's what the ANC is able to do.
Now, there is one controversial area this morning that we're seeing. We're reading about tensions, about the ANC having to throw away 4,000 posters because the city of Cape Town rejected the way that they were printed and designed. Tell us about that and what course of action you're going to take.
Well, obviously, we have seen that Cape Town has got very unfriendly regulations towards free political activity, because in a sense, all these regulations, what they do, they suffocate our rights as South Africans to freely associate, to freely demonstrate, to freely engage. So I think these regulations have got to be reviewed so that they create a conducive environment for people to exercise their democratic rights. They are very draconian. It's as if we're hosting another FIFA World Cup. They are not in line with the values as espoused by the Constitution of the Republic, which is really, it's about ensuring public participation, public engagement, vibrancy of society, and all those things which are dear to us as South Africans.
Finally, tell us about the President's keynote address, the January 8th statement over the weekend. What, for you as the ANC Western Cape, is the key lessons and points that you're taking out of the President's January 8th statement this year?
We are very happy, first of all, that the President acknowledged many of the heroes and heroines of the Western Cape who laid their lives for freedom, because also this gave us an opportunity to invite a lot of families that lost their loved ones, particularly cadres who really, unsung heroes basically, who are really unknown to some of our people. Two, it gave, the President made a very strong point around recommitting the ANC to the implementation of the Freedom Charter, which I think in a sense speaks to the very core of what the ANC is all about. We have already said to our structures that we want our regions to run workshops on the Freedom Charter, on the January 8th statement, so that as we move forward, our members are able to articulate these issues better and are able to inform the public about the plans of the ANC for 2015. I think the President came out very strong, particularly if you look at what the President basically was calling for, that we've got to reclaim the values of the ANC, because some of our members have begun to err. And it's important that we, particularly here in the Western Cape, and we think it's important that we must instill discipline. We must imbue the youth in particular with the values and politics of the ANC. Because one of the reasons why we don't have a strong youth league is because some of them have really lost the essence of what it means to be a young activist in a community. We think these are some of the things that are important to us in rebuilding the ANC and strengthening it going forward.
Thank you very much for joining us today. That's the ANC's Provincial Secretary in the Western Cape, Zongezo Mjongile, joining us live from our Sea Point studios. This after a very successful 103rd anniversary rally. One of the biggest ever in Cape Town was held there over the weekend. Let's take